Hemsley, I want to immediately go to you and I want to talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 confirmed to be releasing into Xbox Game Pass on July 24th. Okay, now one of the things this is an exciting time. I've played through it. I've beaten it. I started playing on the hardest mode. It's hard. It is like all Call of Duties. You try to play on the hardest level, you're gonna die every 5 seconds. And I'm trying. I want to get the achievement for that. But I understand that it wasn't one of the more widely enjoyed Call of Duties for single player. Listen, the game, the single player was okay, and you know what? I played through all of them. I found every orange box. I found every gun. I actually enjoyed those levels significantly because then it was a challenge to find all of the hidden orange boxes, and these levels were huge. But we have confirmation it's in Game Pass. Finally, we are getting Modern Warfare games, specifically Modern Warfare 3, into Xbox Game Pass. I'm just interested to get your hot take. Again, this is not the biggest topic of the show because, we knew this was happening. We just now have confirmation. Do you think there's going to be a resurgence with this game that launched last year?
Well, I think just like Diablo. Oh my god, I can't speak. Just like that game, I'm not gonna say it again. I think it's gonna be a short boost. I feel like Diablo, God, also quickly kind of lost its fire almost immediately after that big spike. So yeah, something like that. I think I was reading random stats from random player count sites that has Modern Warfare 3 around 161 peak players in the past 30 days. And I don't think that's incredibly um, impressive. Since I thought it was going to be higher, but I guess they go on to what's it called? Warzone. I think Warzone is like
Yeah.
what everybody jumps into after like a few months of the Call of Duty releases. So yeah, I think there's going to be a boost. Obviously, there's around 25 upward million of people on Game Pass. So certainly the lapsed players that haven't picked this up yet, or the people that are interested and see this on their Game Pass sub, will hop in there and give it a huge, large boost. But I really don't think it's a good enough game to, keep attention for long. Look at me in my face. It just wasn't a good Call of Duty game. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, again,
I think
your
it'll.
mileage is going to vary on how much you liked it or
Yeah.
disliked it. A lot of people did not like this Call of Duty.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was pretty meh. But this month as a whole is the larger picture. Like this month as a whole just had a lot of games dropping that people were actually interested in, like the 3 games I said on the top. So
Mm-hmm.
adding this to the library of those games that came out this month, it is a giant month for Game Pass, and I think people's eyes will be glued to it for the next month as well. So this is going to help player retention, and that's important. So yeah.
I mean, look, are people going to come to the service in droves because of this particular Modern Warfare or this Call of Duty? No, they're not. The next Call of Duty that is going to move mountains, that are going to move people from potentially PS4s to Xbox Series S consoles, is obviously the price of the console and the fact that it's in Game Pass. I like to keep reminding people that even if you're on the other side of the screen and you happen to be someone that you don't have to be loaded, but you're doing well for yourself, you're doing well for your family, spending 67 or 76.43 for a game may not be a big deal for you. And you know what? If that's the case, congratulations, you won. But that's not, in fact, the conversation that a lot of people can have. People are looking for deals. If they're not getting them on Steam, they're getting them on sites like CD Keys to try and get a key cheaper, whether it be $5 cheaper, $10 cheaper, or more. Game Pass is one of those situations where yes, it's going up in September. It's going up right before the next Call of Duty comes out to $20. I said this earlier, and I will stand on this hill, and I think most people will stand with me. I'm never going to advocate for a $3 trillion company to raise prices. That is absurd. I called it hogwash. I understand why they're doing it. I just don't like it. And obviously, the FTC doesn't like it, and we're going to get into some of their shenanigans as a segue out of this topic. But Fuzzy, look, I've seen a lot of people advocating for this, like Gamsley, not being a great Call of Duty, but it sold. It was the most selling game under Hogwarts. Mm-hmm. And if Hogwarts didn't come out that year, it would have been number one again. People bought this game in droves. Yeah, so it came in number 2. I can't make you like the game. If you didn't like it, hey, you didn't like it. But one thing I did notice, especially when this was announced over the weekend, a lot of people skipped it. Whether it be for bad reviews, or they didn't have the money, or they haven't played a Call of Duty in a very long time. Well, now it's in a service. So there's absolutely no reason not to try it. Now, if you think the game sucks, hey, man, I'm not here to fight with you. Good on you. You think it's good or bad. But it's in your service. It's in your service that you pay for. And the one thing that we can say about other services, well, it's not in PlayStation Plus. That is for certain. And I think that even though this is one of the less enjoyed Call of Duties from the Call of Duty fan base, it's still a Call of Duty that made bank. And it's going to move people. Yes. Is it going to move 5 million people into the service because of this particular Call of Duty? I don't think so. I don't know if it moves anybody for that matter, but it is still in the service. I'm going to get your hot take on it.
Well, let's put things in perspective with Hogwarts versus Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. One being that Hogwarts was out pretty much at the beginning of the year, so it had the entire year of sales to go for it in comparison to the Call of Duty. It even had additional releases on the older platforms to kind of help aid it towards the second half of that year. So for Call of Duty to finish second, a close second, and only be counted for like 2 out of the 12 months, that should tell you all you need to know about Call of Duty as a whole and how popular that brand is. But with it coming to Game Pass, it's great. I would like to hear more about additional Call of Duties coming and what the timeline or what that looks like. But this is one that I skipped. I got Modern Warfare 2. Skipped on 3 for 2 reasons. One, kind of figured, well, maybe that's coming to Game Pass. And 2, it was one of those that I won't say they sent it in kind of thing. Like they just, kind of finished their homework the night before kind of deal.
Kind of a thing. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like that particular one of Call of Duty, at least from a campaign standpoint, seemed like this was a way to finish all the commitments that they had with PlayStation for their marketing deal, because they had to have complete games, not just DLC. So with that counting as a completed game, I think that kind of fulfilled the contract obligations that they had. So it wasn't anything that would lay over or carry over as far as from when Activision became part of Microsoft. But it is what it is. I'll give it a play. Much like all Call of Duties, I'll at least play the campaign. Not as much of a multiplayer guy, but the campaign is still something that even if it's only a couple of hours worth, it's in the service. So, and there's achievement points. So it's going to be worthwhile at least going through that. And then it could, even if it's somewhere in the bottom 10 or bottom 20 as far as Call of Duties, it's still, a Call of Duty. So if you just turn your mind off and want to shoot stuff, that's pretty much what the enjoyment part is, other than figuring out the mechanics if you are going into the multiplayer. But yeah, I'm happy it's coming. Would like to hear more about the other ones.
Yes.
But this is a start.
Indeed, it is a start. Again, we're waiting for any Call of Duty. And well, this is the first one. It makes sense. It was last year's Call of Duty. Again, we're not going to reiterate the numbers, but I saw a lot of people talking about it, specifically about the campaign not being as bad as some people made it out to be. I'm in that camp. I actually enjoyed the campaign. I played through it. I'm playing through it again on the hardest level, and again, it's freaking difficult. It just one shot you're dead, and I like the challenge, so I'll probably try and get the achievement for that, as I did many of other Call of Duties before it. But gentlemen, one of the things that I saw, and I get it's console war rhetoric, but it is disturbing to me. Some people in the chat, again, have your opinion. It's fine. No names. Where I scratch my head, where the conundrum comes from, gentlemen, and I really want to get your hot take on this, are people. Even though this may not be the greatest Call of Duty, I understand that. I get it. You didn't like it, or you did, and you're saying this publicly because you just want clicks. Advocating for this to be a bad thing coming into Xbox Game Pass, I'm gonna be honest with you. What you're selling, I'm not buying. And I've seen a lot of people over the weekend talking that, like, well, this is not good for the service. It sucks. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it sucks as bad as you think it does when it's the number 2 selling game of the entire freaking year. Oh, and PS, by the way, they did that in 2 months. So, yeah, maybe it's not up to your standard, and there are some Call of Duty snobs out there. You know who I'm talking about. And that's fine. Certainly wasn't the greatest Call of Duty I ever played, but I at least enjoyed myself, nonetheless. Gamzee, what are your pushbacks to people saying that games being added to a service is somehow a bad thing?
Oh, I don't know. I I don't know the arguments. Like, what are the arguments? What are they saying exactly? Are they saying it's bad because,
well, they're saying it's bad because the game sucks. So why are people basically asking, why are people getting excited for this Call of Duty coming to Game Pass? I don't know, because it's Call of Duty coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, when value is added to something that you are paying for, it's like saying if, I don't know, House of Cards came to Netflix and it was okay at best, it's still there. If the price didn't go up because of it, then it's all good. But if it did, then maybe. But if that's not the argument, it's just because stuff is being added, then I don't know, man. I have no idea. Maybe those people are thinking, well, because Call of Duty is coming into this service and then they up the price and blah, blah, blah. If that's the case, then sure. But that's not the case. So,
Fuzzy, before we get into the FTC shenanigans, let's get your hot take on this. Where is this coming from? Is this just console war rhetoric where a high-profile game, again, regardless of score or personal taste, whether you like it or you don't, getting into a service that, I mean, if you just read this particular thread, not anyone on social media, just the chat what we have right now, there are a lot of people that did not play this particular Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, several people here haven't played Call of Duty, a proper single-player Call of Duty, since like Black Ops 1. So they've been out of the loop. They kind of step back. Well, now they can play it at no risk because all they have to do is download it. That's it.
I don't know why people get upset over options. Like, if you're already subscribed, it's one of 400, 500 plus games or whatever that you could either play or not play. But I can't see how you spin it as a bad thing. Like, there have been bad games that have come to the service and people have not really made a fit about it and moved on to a game that they enjoy playing that's in the service, or another game that they may have purchased, or one that they previously owned anyway. So this Call of Duty, not being one of the better ones in a lot of people's opinion, that's fine. Eventually all the Call of Duties will be there. So I don't think that this, coming to Game Pass is like somehow a detriment to the service or a detriment to gamers as a whole. Although there's a staunch few that are out there that'll tell you that Game Pass is the reason why the gaming industry is failing. Not the fact that costs are out of control as far as how much it makes or how much it takes to make a game. No, that can't possibly be the problem. No, it's solely Game Pass and the Series S potato. Those are the suspects, I guess,
And
for
Concord.
those guys. But
You know what I mean?
it's funny that people would bring this up as a bad thing, and yet those would be the same people that are like, Concord was fun. All they need is some more polish. Like, okay, yeah, I guess Concord can be fun for those that gave it a try and stuff, but it'll eventually go free to play. So I guess the same ones that are complaining that Call of Duty not being good for the service will have something similar to say, I guess, when Concord comes to PS Plus for free. But we'll see.
Yep.
But no, it's silly to complain about, oh, it's a detriment when there's so many hundreds of games to play in comparison. So I don't know. It's like they want to pick something to complain about. Oh, the sky is blue, water's wet. Yeah, pick your poison, I guess.